know.
We should be on right now.
Yeah. Well, welcome, guys. We wanted to go live at 12:30 like we normally do, but yeah, so much for that, I guess, because technical difficulties are awesome. Are they not?
Yeah, we're live, so there is confirmation on that.
There we go. Yeah, so, it's been a minute. We've had some stuff go on, a COVID scare, all sorts of crazy stuff, but we're back. Nothing was going to stop us from doing a show today. That's why we're doing it at 12:53 instead of 12:30, because had all sorts of Wi-Fi and, all sorts of weird stuff.
Just classic us as we get the ball rolling here. It's only the 9th episode, so bear with us. It'll get better. Yeah.
Well, hey, there's a lot to talk about since we haven't talked for like 3 weeks.
Oh, my God. Yeah,
the NFL free agency, did you hear that happened?
Oh, yeah, that's a thing. That happened.
A thing. There was 3 first-round picks that moved around.
I know.
Yesterday.
Yeah. Yep. I made a video on that. That was awesome.
Good video, by the way.
That was exciting. I love seeing that kind of stuff.
How
do you feel about it as a Rams fan? Are you a little scared?
I'm not scared because if you have a coach like Sean McVay, you truly feel like you are the best team when you have the roster. So I'm not scared. I do find it interesting, and I will say this. I think Kyle Shanahan is a fantastic coach. But I find it interesting that people, and there's an abundance of people that will put Kyle Shanahan above McVay because of the head-to-head. And fine, but I don't think people are giving McVay the benefit of the doubt now that he has Stafford. And I feel like people are giving Kyle Shanahan the benefit of the doubt now that he has a unnamed rookie quarterback who has not been drafted yet.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
It's just odd.
There's definitely a lot of people who love Kyle Shanahan. And they don't. I mean, people like Sean McVay, obviously, but I think it also has to do with he's just like the newer coach.
Yeah.
The shiny new toy, so people are like, oh, he's the whiz kid, and people get excited about him. But I think there's no denying that Sean McVay has had the better track record so far, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, all 4 years he had, with the Rams, he had a winning record.
Yeah.
3 of those 4 years he made the playoffs. 1 of those years he made the Super Bowl. Shanahan, everyone makes the argument, well, he's only made it 1 of 4, but the 1 year he made it to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And, people say, well, he's been battling injuries. And that's true to an extent. But, I just feel to me like that we use in the GOAT conversation, right? We're always about winning. So, like Tom Brady, he wins. There's no excuses. He wins. He gets the job done.
Yeah, that's the first and foremost.
Most
it's
important. Like the same people who have been saying to me, because how I'm, I like Aaron Rodgers as my GOAT, and that's controversial. People will say to me how Aaron Rodgers isn't the GOAT. You can't call him the GOAT because he doesn't win the way Tom Brady wins.
Right.
I'm like, fine, that's your argument, totally fine, but stick to that. Like now, it doesn't matter that Sean McVay wins and Kyle Shanahan, who's a losing record in the NFL, is the better coach. You see what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like you're moving the goalpost there.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, what do you think of Jimmy G, though? I mean, do you like him?
No.
Yeah, I don't like him.
I mean,
I think he made him look.
He's better than Andy Dalton.
Probably, yeah.
I can't even. I could not fathom being a GM in this league and be like, you know what, guys? We're going to go out there and we're going to go get you a QB1, Andy Dalton.
Well, yeah, I don't think you should. I mean, it's very weird what the Bears are doing. Maybe it's cap, maybe it's smoke.
I have no idea.
But I
feel like they're wasting years with that defense.
That post of the QB1 thing, like it was some amazing pickup or haul, was kind of freaking hilarious. And I defend Andy Dalton to an extent because I think he gets some unfair flack.
Watched him more than me
because
he was in the division.
And just on top of that, dude, he made the Bengals a playoff team, consistently for 4 or 5 years.
I guess my thing is I watch AJ Green, and I felt like AJ Green was consistently held back by Andy Dalton. I watched that team, and I felt like they could have been better. And I don't necessarily think it was all Andy Dalton that held them back, and I don't think it was all Marvin Lewis, but I didn't like either of them. And so I'm kind of looking at it in terms of you're a Steelers fan. You don't look at any season thinking, yeah, I don't want to win the Super Bowl this year. You know, and the Rams, because that's the thing is people will be like, well, you're a Rams fan. They're one of the top teams now. I'm like, yes, but you had to get to that point. You had to get to, Les Snead and Sean McVay carved up a roster that got to the point where they were no longer so sorry anymore. They were no longer the same old sorry-ass Rams. They were no longer the 15-65 record or whatever disgusting record they had. They were no longer a 2-14 team. They were actually going out there and giving people confidence in winning Super Bowls. And now that's the goal. That is like literally the goal. But you have to get there. And I felt like the Bengals had a good enough roster where they didn't have to go that far. And they just never got there to me. They were always like, oh, we made the playoffs. Yes. And then they wouldn't win.
But then, for the Bengals, though, that was something for them. You know?
And I get that. But I'm just saying, you see nowadays, like, teams are replacing, like, the Panthers are looking to replace Teddy Bridgewater. I would say Teddy Bridgewater now is on the same level as Andy Dalton was, in his prime in Cincy.
I mean, I would say they've had, like, similar kind of peaks. I don't know exactly when it would be, but I would say, yes, like, if they're both playing around their best, like, I would say they're comparable as far as tier.
Well, like Derek Carr, too, for instance. So
I think Derek Carr is better at his peak.
Derek Carr, I think, is 100% better.
Yeah.
But, like, there are Raiders fans literally like, get me a new quarterback.
I get that, too, though, because, like, he has dropped the ball a lot, and he hasn't lived up to what you would have hoped from him, especially when you've seen some of the greatness he has, but then he hasn't gotten them to that promised land. He hasn't been a real threat. So I get that, especially when you're the Raiders and you are picking, like, in the, teens a lot of the times because of him. So it's like, man, maybe we should just move up top 10, get another guy, and go from there.
And Kirk Cousins, like, I guess that's my thing is, in this league, it's like you're either trying to win a Super Bowl or you're not. And I felt like the Bengals were just trying to hold. They were trying to save face, and I think it's the owner Mike Brown who just really. I think he's made it very. He's made it very apparent the dude just cares about the dollars.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So I think, unfortunately, the Bengals organization and the fans, they suffered because of it. But
maybe Joe Burrow could help him out here.
I like Joe Burrow. I like Zach Taylor because he was with the Rams. I don't know if Zach Taylor's the guy. I would have personally gone out and hired Joe Burrow.
I mean, it was a bad year. It wasn't a great first year, so we'll see.
And the DC was questionable at best.
But the 49ers trade, man, is amazing. Like, I'm so excited. I mean, I'm a little sad because now I know. I mean, I knew for a minute now the Steelers definitely aren't getting any of the top quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But, like, the 49ers, if they get freaking Zach Wilson. Did you see his pro day?
Yeah.
Dude,
and I don't know why.
He
gets a lot of hate.
Wait, there was one throw, though, at his pro day, and I'm sure you saw it because the clip was going around Twitter.
This way.
And 70-yard just flick. I was like, that's my guy. Get him. Like, that was it. That sold me. I was like, he's special. Like, that is special, man. That throw, like, blew my mind.
I think the 49ers, and we're going to discuss this now because the 49ers they can grab anybody they want at 3. I mean, they're not going to get Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
But, like, number 2, it's like, you're not trading up to 3 if you're only sold on one guy.
No, right, obviously.
So I guess they could do a myriad of things. Someone suggested Kyle Pitts. I think Pitts is 100% a talent that could go that high, but I don't think you trade up and give up the assets to not get a quarterback.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, those assets given up is like, it screams quarterback.
But at the same time, Kyle Pitts, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk.
I love Kyle Pitts, man, but it's a fact he's very scrawny and he's not a blocker, and
he got better in 2020, like a lot better.
But it's just gonna be a part of his game that isn't all there. I
don't know. Like, I feel like the same thing I heard about Evan Ingram, and I totally agreed with that. And I feel like Kyle Pitts is way ahead of where Evan Ingram was as a blocker.
As a blocker,
yeah.
I think as a pass catcher, he's better.
Well, I think Pitts is a special talent. I mean,
yeah, he is as a receiver to me. I don't think his blocking is like anything.
And I wouldn't necessarily play him at wide receiver, but I do see the appeal there.
No, tight end. I mean, just bulk him up. He's got to get bigger. Right? You look at him, you know he has to get bigger.
I think he's fine.
Dude, he's so small.
He's fine because, I mean, we've seen it like with Gerald Everett. What was his biggest issue? Is that he couldn't block.
It was drops, right?
And he This guy has the strongest hands maybe in the draft. I mean,
I know. I remember that was the thing coming out.
And you saw it in the 8K video I posted.
Yeah, dude, what was that? It was like 6,000 frames per second.
I don't know. I don't even begin to understand. It came up on my feed. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, it was a Kyle Pitts highlight reel.
It was so nice. And it just kind of shows you like that back shoulder fade.
No, I mean he'll beat anyone.
And you know how I feel about Kyle Trask. He underthrew that one pass, and he just muscled it away from that
dude.
guy.
I mean, you want to talk about a quarterback who got bailed out. Kyle Trask having Kyle Pitts and Kadarius Toney. That's just another reason to chalk up why Kyle Trask should not be somewhat like a franchise quarterback.
I think he's a fourth-round guy.
At best, honestly.
I mean,
his arm is just so weak.
You stuck up for me in the chat yesterday, the group chat. One? You're like, oh, yeah, Jake loves Davis Mills.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
QB5. I'm very high on him.
Davis Mills is, you're saying. Yeah.
But I bring that up not just the blue because Mac Jones is my QB6. And there's talk about him going to the Niners at 3. I think it's smokescreen, but I will say this.
That would make no sense.
I think, and this is where I think just being like too close to the game actually hurts you.
In what manner? What do you mean?
Because I think people are going to look at him and think, wow, he's so NFL ready.
Oh, Mac Jones?
He can come in and we can win a Super Bowl with him. And
he does look polished. I'll give him that.
But like the problem is that's where it ends. As somebody that watched all the Alabama games,
the ceiling's there, right?
He's obviously really good as a college quarterback. But yes, there's a ceiling there. And no, I'm not excited about the 55-yard throw he did at the pro day where the guy had to slow down and catch it.
That was like his deepest shot that day.
Like, I don't understand why everyone was raving about that.
So was that like his big bomb throw?
Yeah, like the guy slowed down. And I'm like,
that's not good.
You know what I'm saying?
Also,
it wasn't Zach Wilson 75 yards on a dime.
Also, and you could tell he barely flicked his wrist and it just soared. I was like,
no, he was like he put all you had into it.
Dude. Mac Jones. Well, so at his pro day, you also have to keep in mind. So he threw it 55 yards, which is good.
Yeah.
But you say the guy slowed down, there's no corners, and you're in shorts. With pads on, You're not getting as much rotation, flexibility. It's harder to throw it deeper. There's all that stuff to consider. So that is concerning to me.
That's my thing. And it's not that I'm a Mac Jones hater. No, I know everyone likes to go to, oh, you're a hater.
I know. If you criticize, dude, I hate that about like YouTube, by the way. You criticize anyone, you're a hater. It's like, I can't believe you said he can't do this thing. I'm like, dude,
I saw that.
Can I just like share my thoughts like at all? Like, it's okay. I like Mac Jones. I do. But I think at 3, if I was a Niners fan, I'm like, it's got to be like Zach Wilson.
Like you did a video on Deshaun Watson. I saw some guy hater. It's like, no, you're literally explaining the situation for people that aren't following.
Right,
like, I can't. But yeah, Mac Jones, I think could be a solid NFL quarterback. To me, I feel like he's like Kirk Cousins. You know,
I think he could even win Super Bowls. Like if you're in a perfect system, like a Patriots system, like where Tom Brady was.
Do you trade up for that?
No. That's what I'm saying. Like if he's there and you're a team that's like mid first round. I mean, and you're sold.
As screen as it is, I could totally see the 49ers doing something like that.
Like grabbing Mac Jones.
Wow. This is the same team that we give credit for getting George Kittle in the 5th round. I mean, come on, that was a no-brainer. They passed on George Kittle 4 other times, just like every other team. They picked his college quarterback that held him back in Iowa, C.J. Beathard, in the 3rd round of that same draft.
I know.
So, no, you don't get credit from me.
Yeah, but seriously, like, what do you think? What quarterback do you think could be there? Obviously, Mac Jones would be there. But do you think Zach Wilson is there? Because I think the Jets really like Zach Wilson. And I know you've been saying that they should just keep Darnold. But
I mean, at this point,
why would they stay there
then? Jets should try and trade out.
They should, but that's my question because there was reports that came out that the Niners didn't even try to talk to the Jets about trading up. So to me, that means the Jets are sitting there and they want to be there because they want a quarterback.
So like the precedent there, you go back to when Carson Wentz, that trade. See, the thing with trading up to 3, it's kind of weird, but like 1 and 2 are sacred. So like you have to give up 3 first-round picks. You have to give up your 2nd-round pick. Like it's always a lot.
Yeah.
3 is like you could argue, well, it's a 3rd. It's not 2nd or 1st. I get my 3rd choice. And so with that, you normally see like the Matthew Stafford deal where you give up maybe 2 firsts and a 3rd, and then you're not as hamstrung, in that draft. And that's the thing. The Niners kind of win this, in my opinion, because they only give up 2 first-round picks, as we're learning, you can win without first-round
I think
picks.
the Dolphins and Niners won. I mean, I think for what they're both
only
looking
getting
for.
a third this year, I don't know if the Dolphins
Well, that was
going
that
down that much.
That hurts, yeah. But I think overall, like for what they were both looking to do, it made sense. If that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they could get, say, Newsome's available, the cornerback from Northwestern, in second, and then they get their franchise quarterback, the Niners really made out well.
Right.
You know, because they kept their second-round pick.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's just not explained enough, is that they kept their second-round pick. The year the Rams traded for Jared Goff, they gave up, like, all their picks. Their first pick after Goff was in the 4th round. They got Tyler Higbee, and they got Pharaoh Cooper.
Yeah, right. So, okay, so you don't think the Jets want a quarterback? I think they do, man.
I wouldn't be shocked if they took one, but I do think that they are willing to ride it out with Sam Darnold. And here's why I think this. Corey Davis was asked what the plan was. You know, like, what was he told? What was the pitch to come the Jets in free agency?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it. He didn't, like, bat an eye. He was very quick to say, the plan is with Sam Darnold throwing the football.
Right.
You know? And, that's not one of those things, like, where you would trick him and be like, oh, just kidding. We got this rookie quarterback. We're starting from scratch. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I do think that, like, Sam Darnold has a legitimate case. And honestly, it really speaks volumes because Juju Smith-Schuster, that hype, you know, around potentially going to the Jets was there. And that was there because he knew that Darnold was there.
Yeah, well, potentially. They were probably also willing to pay some money, but I don't know, man. I mean, I think if you're the Jets, and after seeing Zach Wilson, seeing him in college just totally dominate and just the things he was able to do on a BYU team, and then that pro day kind of just solidified it for me. I mean, I want to watch interviews on him because I still haven't really watched interviews as how he carries himself and stuff, but I think the Jets are going to go Zach Wilson at like 2. I would not be shocked. And then you trade Darnold maybe on draft night or something. I don't know when, but
yeah. I think the guy that's getting lost in all this is Trey Lance, and I think the 49ers could get Trey Lance. I think he fits their system better than any of these quarterbacks.
Yeah, like
Justin Fields also fits very well too.
Who do you think it would be? Because to me, the most realistic option is Lance and Fields are there at 3, and they make a decision between those two.
I mean, I think
who would it be?
I feel like they really like Fields.
Really?
Yeah. From what I've seen,
dude, I think Lance would be great with them.
Like, I feel like they really like Fields.
Why?
Fields was following a bunch of the 49ers as well on his Instagram and Twitter. And that was funny because people are like, wait, how are they going to – they're in like 13th or whatever. How are they going to trade up? But
right.
They did it. You know, I just feel like Fields – he's the guy that, like, no one's – like, even Mac Jones is getting more talk than Fields. Right?
I know. He is getting lost in the sauce, man.
Like, I mean, let's not forget, this guy's still really good. And he beat everyone's anointed number 1 quarterback in the draft pretty badly, I might add. It is last game in college.
I think the whole team, though, did. It was a team effort. But he did – his stat line was
Trevor
great.
Trevor Lawrence
and
looked awful in that
game. He did look bad.
Like, he looked so checked out. I honestly thought that was a big concern I had. Because you saw, you know – Justin Fields stepped up.
Yeah, but then he crapped the bed the next week?
Yeah, but it didn't look like he wasn't trying.
No, I know, but still, it was like.
Yeah, I know he lost to Mac Jones.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
That's why everyone's Mac Jones. But it's Trevor Lawrence is shunned from ever having anything affect him. But no, I think Justin Fields. There's been issues like people have had. You know, can he read coverages? You know, can he notice like disguising and things like that. Things that Goff struggled with. Things that just came out in that tell-all article with Jared Goff and Sean McVay. And I see that, but I also see the mobility. And the fact is this guy might end up being faster than Trey Lance. He said he could run a 4.4.
Justin Fields?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he looks fast.
And
he probably
he's
is
the type of running quarterback that you want because when do you ever look at Justin Fields and think running quarterback? Like, he doesn't just take off and run every which way.
No.
And so because of that, he's methodical. He's not going to get killed. You know, it's not like he's RG3.
I just think his throwing leaves, stuff to be desired.
He's got a good arm. He just makes poor decisions at times.
That's what I'm saying.
And I do see
the accuracy,
the issue with his coverage.
The accuracy is not always great. Like, the arm strength's there, sure, but there's just concerns as far as, like, throwing. And I'm always going to lean towards throwing more.
Yeah, I still think he's a top 10 talent in this draft.
Yeah, for sure.
But those are the guys, man. Like, just have we ever learned, with the, I don't know about Aaron Rodgers, so I'm going to go with Alex Smith. And Aaron Rodgers falls down the board, ends up being, a threat. Or, like, your guy, Ben Roethlisberger. Like, the way he fell down the draft. That was ridiculous. I mean, he fell pretty far.
Yeah.
And Dan Marino going back a ways,
Yep.
It's like, are we ever going to learn that, like Dak Prescott went in the 4th round?
Right. Basically, what you should learn from this is, like, if they're mobile, they have a special arm, and they dominated in college, it's probably a good quarterback. Like, you probably don't want to let them fall too far.
Yeah.
Like, probably worth it.
I think the highest upside is Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is my QB1. The upside is too high for me to not put him there.
Yeah, it's
and I do
highest.
think his floor is already decently high. I think like people underrate that. They underrate the fact that he had 28 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in his previous year before this year when he had the one game, and then everyone was like, "Oh, he had the one game, he threw an interception. I'm done with him." Like, okay, that was his first interception of college.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So I look at this guy. I think he fits the mold of an NFL quarterback 100%. A guy that can, be that dual threat. But he's bigger. He's built like
that's what I like about
punishment.
Him. Exactly.
And that's why like playing in like say the AFC North or playing in one of those colder environments. You taking the punishment. He's gonna fit well there. So you look at the teams and the Jets. I mean, they're the AFC East. I still think that's a good fit. If the Jets
I don't see them liking him.
No, it's not even that I think that they go quarterback or anything like
right.
that. But I could see in the AFC East, he could withstand that punishment, cold weather, all that. I mean, he played in North Dakota.
Yeah, North Dakota.
So, I think that's a plus there. The Niners is more, nicer outside. Obviously, we're in San Francisco there.
Right.
But at the same time, it's not like the Niners aren't going to draft this guy because he can't, because he can play in cold weather. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I think Lance is obviously where I would go because he's my QB1. But if it's not Lance, and I hope it's not, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you would hate to see that as a fan.
But I think there's something real about Mac Jones there. I don't know if they pulled the trigger.
I hope not for their sake.
But if there's that many people saying it,
but why move up to freaking 3 for Mac Jones? He's not special like that. Like, he's polished, like we say, high floor, yes.
What I'll say is, I said this on one of my live streams the other day, and we're going to talk about the free agency in a little bit. But when Leonard Floyd got his $16 million a year deal from the Rams, everyone was like overpaid. First thought I had was they paid too much. But when you really think about it, did they pay too much? Do we even know that? Because we don't know the market,
yet.
you know? And it's like, I feel like with Mac Jones, we're so focused on these mock drafts, and this is how we're programmed. So we're like, well, Mac Jones is like a late first, early second.
Yeah.
But, that's what I'm seeing in mock drafts, but we don't actually know what the NFL thinks.
I guess, man.
So, if the NFL, like, for instance, like, if the Falcons really like him at 4, maybe that's why the 49ers passed them to get him.
I guess. I just don't see it.
Maybe
you know what's crazy,
Maybe
though?
they talked to the Jets. Jets didn't want to move because they're getting Penei Sewell. They want to get a bookend tackle. And so they're like, okay, we got to get ahead of Atlanta.
Maybe. Also, maybe what's cool is that this could be a draft. Would it be the first draft ever where 4 quarterbacks go with the first 4 picks?
That has to be. That's
because if the Jaguars did it, the Jets potentially were saying could do it. Obviously, the Niners just moved up to do it, and then the Falcons are.
I've been seeing people saying the Falcons shouldn't take a quarterback. I'm like, Matt Ryan is. I mean, I understand what they're saying. They're saying they restructured Matt Ryan's deal, so they kicked the can down the road. It's going to be harder to get rid of him. Fine. But it's also not changing the fact that Matt Ryan's lost a step.
Yeah, I mean, they all do with age. Age comes.
Well, I also think like those injuries towards the end of his career lately, they are starting to affect him. I haven't seen the confidence from him. I just don't really know.
It's also not a very well-rounded team anymore.
No, I mean, you have Julio, you have you have Ridley, And it's like the running back room is really up in the air. You had Gurley, and to me, I look at the Falcons, and I think they're definitely going to have to grab a quarterback. They need to change what they're doing, and they also have a new head coach, So, Arthur Smith, I think, is somebody, look at what he did with Ryan Tannehill. I don't think – he might be up for the challenge of trying to help Matt Ryan, but I think he really would want his own quarterback,
Yeah.
So, the talk of them trading Julio Jones – I don't know if that makes too much sense, but
I don't know.
I guess it's like the end of the era. But like if you were to bring in Trey Lance, have him start over Matt Ryan, which I don't know if they would ever do, but you bring in Trey Lance at the very least, have him behind Matt Ryan, have Matt Ryan lose the job, on his own, and he plays himself out of the job. Trey Lance comes in, and now Trey Lance is throwing to Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones and Hayden Hurst, the other HH. And then, I like in Russell Gage. So, like, those are weapons. They all of a sudden have something there for a young quarterback. If I'm a young quarterback, I don't want to go to the Jaguars. I don't want to. The Jets, maybe. I think
I would not want to go there.
I think Saleh's going to have that team clicking.
That's the only thing.
But I wouldn't want to go for the New York
That's
media.
the only thing. Yeah, but that's the only thing, like, saving grace about the Jets right now is their new coach who, might not pan out, but he's the most promising thing there.
Dude,
I would want to go.
San Fran and Atlanta.
I would want to go to San
by
Fran.
Far the best option.
San Fran is where I would want to go. If I was one of these quarterbacks, I'd be like, come on, San Fran.
well, yeah, no, absolutely. But like, I'm just saying, those are the two. If I had to pick two of those four, Jacksonville is my least desired place. I would say
they're a hot mess now.
Because yes, I'd like to play in sunny Florida, but I'd also not want to be in with the Jaguars.
No income tax, right?
All right.
That's cool.
All right, you're
save millions there.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. It's
But yeah, think about that. 4 quarterbacks could be going in the first 4 picks. That would be crazy. That would be wild. That would have to be a first.
I think so. I don't even know how I'd be able to look that up.
What else? What are we thinking about the Dolphins? What are they doing? I guess they believe in Tua, right? At least for a year.
I guess so.
Yeah.
They traded back up to the 6th.
That's true. But then at that point, you're looking at Mac Jones, if anything.
I don't think they're going to take a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think it's to get a receiver. It could be to get Pitts, and I think that would make sense.
Yeah, I think it's a weapon. It's going to be a weapon for Tua.
If I'm picking at 6 and I have Tua, I'm reuniting him with Jalen Waddle personally.
Ooh, that would be nice.
But, and that's me being stuck. Like, in this scenario, Adam, I'm stuck with Tua. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? I don't have my choice because I would go all out for.
Do you think Tua can, be in the NFL? Do you think he's capable?
All I know is that he doesn't have a chaperone anymore in Ryan Fitzpatrick. So,
It's all on him this year.
I could not even.
Hey, you're the proponent for, like, giving these guys, a year, years.
That's
to
what
develop.
I'm saying. And, like.
So let's give them this year and see.
But that also says a lot based on how I normally feel about the young quarterback ecosystem, how I stress it all the time, and how I say give these guys a chance. And I'm sitting here looking at Tua, and I'm thinking.
You just don't see it?
I just think they made a mistake that cost them maybe a Super Bowl last year by not picking Justin Herbert.
You think they could have went to the Super Bowl if they had Justin Herbert?
Dude, their defense was filthy.
No.
They were 10-6. They went 10-6.
I know, but
with Ryan Fitzpatrick, chaperoning.
I know, but
Tua.
That's crazy.
Well, look at what Justin Herbert did.
No, he was good, obviously better than Tua.
Yeah, and Devontae Parker, he's a good receiver, They have guys, Mike Gesicki, and that running back group. And look, Justin Herbert played with the same issues. He played pretty much the entire season without a consistent running back.
Yeah.
Their defense was better than the Chargers, a lot better than the Chargers. I think that's really what derailed them. I think the problem, and honestly, Fitzpatrick takes them to the playoffs. The biggest issue is when the front office put their nose where it didn't belong. They basically told Brian Flores he had to play Tua. You could tell Brian Flores had no interest in playing Tua.
Oh, I know.
He knew they were a playoff team.
He wanted to take him out
and
whenever
the front
he could.
office totally screwed them out of the playoffs.
Yeah, dude.
But Justin Herbert's the guy I had going to the Miami Dolphins. That's who they should have picked. And, it's as simple as when you realize you screwed up, like obviously now the first step to solving any problem is realizing there is one. And you missed out on Justin Herbert. You realize that's the problem. So now you have to move forward and you have to figure out how to, rectify this, whether it be, building up Tua and trying to develop him or going in a different direction. But Tua was not a good pick. I said it on draft night. I just felt like Justin Herbert, to me, had superstar potential.
Where did they get Tua? What pick was it?
I think it was like 3rd.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I know myself, I didn't like him coming out.
I had all these people telling me Tua was the better option.
All this stuff is so...
As if I wasn't watching in Alabama.
It's just... To me, in today's NFL, you have to get a quarterback who can do everything. And, like, if you're... Which is why I don't believe in the Mac Jones hype at 3. But, like, if you're doing that and you're picking a quarterback, like, top 5 overall or anywhere, even top 10, they better have a great arm. They better be mobile. And they better have, like, some redeeming special trait, that separates them from the pack. And, like, Tua doesn't do that for me. Mac Jones doesn't do that for me. The list goes on. That's why I don't like those type of quarterbacks and why I'm so, like, disgusted when people say that Mac Jones is going to be a top 5 pick. It just doesn't compute with me.
No, I feel that. I just noticed that we're getting comments in here, so I'm just going to –
Okay.
Let's see here. It's Aiden Too Cool. He's been in every
what up,
single
Aiden?
stream.
Yeah, he's a cool man.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, bro.
What's up, Pac-Man? My guy, Alec. Who do you think they will pick? San Francisco. I'm going to say because, I don't normally get what I want. They'll pick Trey Lance.
Okay. Are we assuming – who are we assuming is there? Are we assuming Zach Wilson is there? Or are we saying the Jets take
I'm
it?
assuming Zach Wilson's there. I
Okay.
think they'll actually take Trey Lance.
I'll go ahead and assume that, and I'll say Zach Wilson. If Zach Wilson's there,
and if Zach Wilson's not there,
then I would say probably Trey Lance.
So I'm going to be at this desk crying.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the next 15 years.
A good thing we know this. All right. Everyone who started with the 49ers at the beginning of the year didn't finish the year. That's true.
Yeah, they had a lot of...
When is Carson Wentz going to admit he is Prince Harry in disguise?
He does look like a long-lost prince from the royal family.
I really wish I didn't know that.
He does, though, man.
That I can never unsee that. Wow. Aiden's out here dropping facts. Pac-Man says Steelers mock draft ?
Yeah, we'll do. Oh God, I'll do that on my own channel, obviously. But yeah, I'll do one.
We'll get to the point where we'll do a mock draft. We had a mock draft lined up, and
I do have my first 2 rounds on my computer right now. Did you do yours?
I did, but it was before the trade. So.
Mine too. Yeah, so that would be outdated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could set it up in intermission if you wanted to. Just go literally make our picks on the fly.
Oh, like right then and there, like do it live?
We could do that.
Okay, maybe. We'll think about it.
Yeah.
We'll see how it works.
So, I did want to bring up something because someone jogged my memory with the everyone who started with the 49ers at the beginning of the year didn't finish the year. What do you think about your Buccaneers? Yes, I'm calling them your Buccaneers because you've been very high on them. They are the first team.
Return all 22?
I think it's the first team in NFL history to return all 22 starters.
Yeah, scary. It sucks.
That's...
I mean, you're only going to get better.
It's that culture, man. I don't like Bruce Arians, but I give him credit for establishing a culture in which everybody bought in. And by the way, this is exactly my biggest issue with the 2018 Rams, because after they lost the Super Bowl, Sue goes his separate ways, Saffold signs somewhere else. It's like, I feel like, and I'm not knocking guys for wanting to go, get paid, but when you have something going and you're a Super Bowl team, you just won 13 games. How do you not do? Why is not any one of these teams that lose in the Super Bowl like the next year trying to do what they did?
They
did it as a Super Bowl champion.
And it's not like they had a ton of cap space, right? But they still made it work.
No, they hardly had any cap space. I don't even know how they made it work. They honestly I mean, getting Shaq Barrett back was so shocking.
That was huge.
And his cap hit this year is like $4 million.
Crazy. Yeah, I mean, they set themselves up really nice for a repeat.
It's also the owner willing to actually pay. So, like, the Raiders wouldn't do
They're my favorite next year. They have to be. I mean, how can they not be?
I mean, I think it's between them, the Rams, and the Packers, but did the Packers get any better?
Well, those are all NFC teams. Are
no,
you talking
I mean in
represent
the NFC.
Okay. Yeah. Nah, man, I agree.
Well, I still have my prediction. I have an all-LA Super Bowl.
Right.
I'm very, very, very high on the Chargers, and I love what they're doing.
But, yeah, I'm just disappointed in the Steelers looking at the Bucs, man, because the Steelers didn't even get out of the first round, and they lost, like, half their team. I'm like, what the hell?
All right, let's
keep
discuss that.
Half our team when we lose in the first. Like, can we do something?
So Big Ben over here is like, yeah, I'll come back. I'm not going to retire, and I'm not going to go to a different team because I love the Steelers. Yeah. I'm going to take a pay cut.
I know.
And then what do they do with that money?
Nothing.
Don't know.
I don't know where it went.
I don't know where it went.
We signed Juju, which is great, but guess what his cap hit is this year?
What?
$2 million. So it didn't go there.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, okay, well, yeah. Let's Mike Hillen.
Yeah.
Nope. Bengals.
Oh, we have a corner under.
Tyson Alualu.
Yeah, gone.
Nope. He's back with the Jaguars.
And then we have a corner under contract who's been great for us. Let's get rid of him proactively. I'm like, what is? And I love Cam Sutton. They re-signed Cam Sutton. You know, I love him.
What is happening? What happened with Steven Nelson?
Nothing. I think it was just a cap casualty, man.
He didn't request.
He didn't ask for a trade. People thought that initially because everyone's like, well, there's no other reasonable explanation.
Is Colbert losing his mind?
I mean, maybe he's just trying to leave his mark before he goes, man. I don't know, but it's not looking pretty. All they can do.
He's trying to sabotage the Steelers.
Yeah, man, maybe.
He's going all Hail Hydra.
We'll know when the draft comes. If they who are they gonna pick at 24?
Bro,
will tell us.
They're gonna pick. Oh,
who's the guy?
I know who they're gonna pick.
Who are they gonna pick?
So they're gonna pick another receiver.
But not even one of the top guys.
No, it'll be the obscure one. They'll pick Amari Rodgers in the first round.
Yeah.
Amari Rodgers.
It's crazy, bro. I don't know what's going on. I just have to hope that there's a method to the madness, man.
You just gotta hope that Kevin Colbert isn't.
There's a master plan.
Isn't part of Hydra.
Yeah, dude. Sabotage.
You gotta watch out for these guys. Those guys in the suits, man. No, but I mean, I was sitting there depressed for you because I'm watching. I'm like, there goes Bud Dupree. Now, would I have paid Bud Dupree that much? If I had the money, yeah.
If I had the money, but we were prepared for that. That was an expectation.
Yeah.
But everything else was oh my God, can we keep one person?
It's can we do something in free agency?
Right,
can
make
we
a
bring
move?
Somebody new in?
Yeah. Oh, we brought in Joe Haig. Yeah, the guy who dropped the touchdown in the Super Bowl for the Bucs, the backup offensive lineman. Yeah, we brought him in. So there's that.
That's a name. He actually blocked for Carson Wentz at North Dakota State.
Did he? Yeah, so we got him as a swing tackle.
So
there you go. That's our big
Super
splash.
Bowl.
Yeah.
What about Alejandro Villanueva?
Who cares, bro?
They're going to sign him to a 14-year
Probably, yeah.
deal.
He'll get the most money.
I don't even know what to say. I really don't. And then Filer goes, and it's funny. I saw what you said, and I agreed with you. Because it's when Filer was on the Steelers, everyone's just
right.
Now he gets picked up by another. Matt Filer's going to come in and he's a Pro
so
Bowler, tomorrow.
He's going to fix everything. I'm like, what?
You're keep that same energy, bro.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Yeah.
I thought they made a mistake by not going after David Andrews. You lose a bookend center in Pouncey, end of an era, and you have Ben for a year. Maybe you have him down the road, but for right now, we have him for a year.
Right.
How do you not go out and get him a legit center, especially for $5 million per year?
I know.
In Andrews, you let him go back to the Patriots. The Patriots signed his backup from the year prior, Ted Karras, because they didn't expect to get Andrews back. They got them both.
Yeah, dude. I think their move is to draft a guy, but you can't. There's only 2 or 3 centers that are you could slide in to start.
The problem is
right now.
How on earth is this team equipped to win for Ben Roethlisberger?
They're not. They didn't do him any favors. I feel bad for him. I really do.
And they had conversations with him. So, did they tell him, hey, just so you know, we're not going to try to win you a Super Bowl here last year.
I know.
Hey, just so you know, we're going to start the rebuild, but we're going to make it look sexy
leave it with
and
you.
Keep people coming in the stands because number 7's out there.
Which is. That's what it looks like. It looks like they're starting the rebuild.
I'm actually terrified.
But they kept Ben to like put
that's
put him on a sinking ship.
That's a horrible way for a team, for an organization that is very good about handling their players.
Yeah.
I think they're totally dropping the ball here.
Yeah.
Who arguably is like one of their most important players in their entire franchise. And they've had some monster players.
Right.
I mean, but like, I don't know. I'm looking at it like, what the hell are the Steelers doing?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I can't deny. I'll just like finish this kind of segment on them by saying this. Like, obviously they still have great talent, right? You still have Chase Claypool, Juju, Deontay Johnson, James Washington, Eric Ebron. You have Ben Roethlisberger. And then on the defense, you have Minka, you have Devin Bush, you have TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt. So there's Joe Hayden. There's pieces there, but they dismantled a lot really quickly. And it's going to be just interesting to watch. Hopefully it works out, but I don't feel great right now.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling good about the Steelers moving forward. I mean, I don't even know.
I'm giving them the draft. Prove me wrong in the draft. Maybe they'll kill the draft, and I'll be like, okay, I see what the plan was. But
I have a weird feeling they're going to take like a running back in the first round and totally like derail.
Najee Harris at 24.
And I love Najee, but like, I just feel like they have so many more pressing needs. Like, and I know you really like what's
Javonte.
His face? No. The corner that you've been talking about.
Oh, J.C. Horn,
who's great.
Yeah,
but like they have so many needs. I couldn't even look at corner.
Well, I look at it this way. I think Joe Hayden's gone after this year. So I would picture it being J.C. Horn, Cam Sutton on the defensive back side of things, which I would really like. But where do you think our other holes are? Obviously, the offensive line is the biggest thing. But
I'm thinking you're in prime position to go out and get a Vera Taylor from USC interior offensive
at 24.
Yeah,
you don't think that's too early?
No, Dylan Ray Dunes.
I like him a lot.
Leatherwood, who I know everyone's like mock draft mode.
Right.
Well, he's a second rounder, but I'm telling you, I feel like the NFL is going to be way higher on him, and people are going to be
I think so too.
And he tested out of the world.
Yeah, he was good.
So
he's athletic.
I think
he's big.
An option. I think first and foremost, get Ben Roethlisberger a freaking left tackle.
Yeah. And
that needs to be the priority one.
Yeah.
So if you have to trade up and get your guy, do it. You need to make sure Ben Roethlisberger doesn't die in his last season. I like for real.
Yeah, dude.
And then you have Haskins back there and you have Rudolph. It's like, if you want anybody to have a semblance of a career, you need to make sure you have an offensive line.
Right.
So I'm not like a huge fan of just drafting all offensive line because I think it's redundant. And like for instance, like I look at a team like the Rams and a lot of their fans are saying just draft a whole new offensive line. I'm like, they were top 10 last year and they might lose one guy, but that guy still could come back. Like he's a free agent right now. I don't agree with drafting a whole new offensive line. But you need to solidify left tackle first and foremost.
I agree. Yeah.
And so Leatherwood, you did a video on. Loved the video, by the way. Leatherwood would be a nice addition. Dylan Ray Dunes would be a nice addition. And there's some guys that you can get later on, but I'm just saying left tackle, I'm not going to play with the later on. I'm going to go out and get my guy. No, you got to get him in the first. Solidify it for Ben Roethlisberger.
I agree.
I think it's only fair. Dude's done so much for you.
Yeah.
I mean, he took a pay cut. We don't even know where the money's going.
I know, dude.
So, I mean, it's... that's where I'm at. I feel like they really need to work on that. They got a guy that I really like in Dotson.
Oh, I love Dotson.
But that's where
he's a good one.
That's where the ball stops.
Well, you have DeCastro still.
Oh yeah, DeCastro.
Zach Banner, I guess they are super high on for whatever
reason.
Unless
he becomes Bruce Banner, that's not going to be much of a.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything, and everyone's like, "Oh yes, Zach Banner." I'm like, "Why?" Because he's good on Twitter. Yeah, because he has a personality.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked him at USC.
And I'm obviously rooting for him.
He's like a locker room guy. So like you have him, and like he's loved, but I don't know how good he is on the field.
I don't know either. That's all I'm saying. Like people get mad at me when I say that, but it's like.
You're just a realist.
He played, I think it was it one snap?
So by the way, DeCastro and Dotson means you don't have a need at guard.
No, guard is okay.
Centers and two tackles.
Pretty much.
Which you can find in this draft. I mean, hear me out. First round, say you get Ray Dunes, right? You get Leatherwood.
Yeah.
So then the second round, everyone's like, oh, the Steelers should go and get a running back. No, because this draft is flooded with running back talent and wide receiver talent. So what I would do, you get Ray Dunes or Leatherwood in the first round.
And then a center.
In the second round, you get Quinn Miners. So you get your center from Wisconsin Whitewater.
And they did go to, I think, his
I
pro
saw
day.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's good. That's a good sign.
So then in the third round, you could still get a tackle. I don't know exactly who would be there. Maybe a Walker Little or somebody like that from Stanford.
Yeah.
But there you fixed your offensive line. The fourth round, if he's available, man, I know you might not like it, but I'm a big fan of his. Trey Sermon, fourth round.
I haven't watched him yet. I wasn't high on him, but that was just because of word of mouth. So I'll look into him myself. But
it's not just Trey Sermon. Like Khalil Herbert from Virginia Tech played at Kansas, and then transferred. There are definitely some guys in this draft that I like. I mean, Chris Evans from Michigan, I think is a pretty underrated talent.
Mm-hmm.
But what would you be looking for at your running back? Would you rather just bring back James Conner, or would you?
I'm so over him. He's never available. He's a waste.
I mean, here's what I'll say. I'd be interested to see them get Trey Sermon and then sign Todd Gurley on a really cheap deal. And then you have two guys that are big, bulky. Sermon, I think, has some underrated explosiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third running back could be like your scat back, that's Anthony McFarland Jr., who has experience with Matt Canada.
Yep.
So I feel like everyone's mocking these scat backs because I saw one mock draft. I don't know, they are obsessed with making matchmaking or whatever, but they're like, oh, Javonte Williams and Michael Carter. I'm like, that's not going to happen.
That would be so dumb.
You know what I mean? It's just break them apart, let them go. It's okay.
Yeah.
They don't have to get married and go off to Pittsburgh.
That's hilarious.
You know what I mean? But I was thinking, and I'm like, are you do you guys hate Anthony McFarland? Do you hate
I love
him? Because not you, but I mean I've seen so many oh, they need Chuba Hubbard in the sixth.
Yeah.
No, they have Anthony McFarland. He can be their guy.
Yeah.
But they need a legit bell cow, and I feel like in that case that would be Sermon. Then you grab Adrian Peterson's still there as well. So you grab Peterson or you grab Gurley, and you also still have Snell. So
yeah.
You have them all battle it out, and the top three you take into the start of week 1.
Yeah, the pieces are there. We'll see. I don't know. It's
that's how you fix the Steelers.
Yeah, either way, it's offensive line that's the most important because you got to protect Ben, and then they're drafting a quarterback in the next year or two anyways.
I don't think they're going to be bad, though, because as long as they stick with that, what I was just saying, it kind of goes to show you it's really easy for the Steelers to be fine.
No, I don't think they're going to be bad. I don't expect them to go 4-12.
They can make the playoffs,
or 4-13 now, but,
No.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
The 17-game schedule of death.
Yeah. What else we got? What else we want to talk about?
Well, let's. I mentioned it a little bit. What do you think about the Patriots and what they're doing? They've been getting some praise, definitely praise from me. I love what they're doing, but then I understand both sides. So I like them going out and getting Aguilar and getting Bourne because they're getting guys that they clearly did the homework, and they view not just throwing money at the top guys. They view as guys that help their system. They like what they bring.
Yeah.
Kendrick Bourne, I've said for years, is an underrated receiver. He comes from a wide receiver factory, kind of a budding and rising wide receiver factory at Eastern Washington with Cooper Kupp, him, and Simba Webster. But I look at Kendrick Bourne, and I'm like, this guy's had kind of a back seat role in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying he'll 100% have a giant role with New England, but New England tried to trade for him twice. So, they clearly see something in him. And he's not a burner, but he's a very reliable receiver over the middle.
Well, that's
and he's
all
somebody
they need
that's going
right
to
now.
run through arm tackles.
Yeah, they need a guy like that. They haven't had that in a minute. They tried to make that. Oh, my God. Who was the guy?
N'Keal Harry.
Yeah, who I liked coming out.
I told you. I didn't. I thought the fact he couldn't create separation and then he would make these incredible highlight reel catches, but then the simple ones he couldn't make, I'm like, that is terrifying.
Yeah.
I won't touch that with 10-foot pole. But I think they might have fixed the receiver woes. They go out, they double dip on tight ends. They get the two top tight ends in the class with Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. I think Jonnu Smith is going to be the biggest one of them all. But it's interesting with Hunter Henry because you go back and everyone knows Bill Belichick doesn't just make compliments to make compliments, but he has always raved about Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry anytime they played them. And, the fact you have the dynamic of them trying to trade for Kendrick Bourne twice. And then you have Nelson Aguilar, who I know a lot of people just
They paid a lot for, by the way.
They won't let it go with like the Eagles. Like he reinvented himself with the Raiders.
Yeah, he was better, but I just think they overpaid him.
Oh, well, they did, but here's why they overpaid him. Because he's a guy that they identified as like the guy that would help them with the deep threat and stretching the field.
Yeah, they do need that.
So they knew they had to pay a little bit more than everyone else to get him right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to wait. And that's the thing. The Patriots didn't want to wait. They wanted to sculpt their roster immediately.
And they did it. I mean, they brought in, like you said, impressive pieces.
He's probably $8 million next year or next week.
Probably.
But he also might not be a Patriot. So that's the thing is that they,
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about Cam Newton joining them again, though? I mean,
I'm hoping that they find a replacement, to be honest with you. I don't like Cam Newton as a starting quarterback in the NFL anymore.
Yeah, he's not good. He's lost it.
8 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. And then I hear, well, you're still using stats. That's weird. It's like.
Sometimes the stats tell the story. And it's okay to reference stats. It's like, dude, he just wasn't good. But there were excuses being made like, oh, he didn't have weapons and stuff. So, okay, he has weapons now.
Fine, but, like, if he doesn't have weapons, like, he was playing okay, and then he got COVID. So if you want to use that excuse, fine, use that excuse. But don't give me the no weapons. I've seen so many quarterbacks in this league succeed with no weapons. Mm-hmm. We were talking about, like, Brady succeeding with no weapons. We were talking about all sorts of quarterbacks. I mean, I don't.
You don't look that bad with no weapons, is the point.
They're NFL players.
Right.
Can we stop with the no weapons? Like, people literally will take Kendrick Bourne and they'll just put him in, like, a trash bin. Like, and if you had Kendrick Bourne as your number 2, you're labeled as no weapons.
Where the Patriots picking?
Middle of the draft.
I mean, everyone's talking about Mac Jones being so polished. That's where he should go.
What if they're just waiting for Deshaun Watson?
Are they? With all those allegations? We want to get into that?
I don't necessarily want to get into all that. But like
documents, man.
But you know what I mean.
It's crazy. I don't know that they would pick him up.
I think that, that might have been their plan beforehand.
Right.
And also,
what about Mac Jones to the Patriots?
What about Russell Wilson?
What about not trading, though? I'm saying, like, just drafting a guy. Like, I really think – I know it sounds super cliche, like, oh, of course, Mac Jones would go there. But, like, it actually just simply makes sense.
Of course Mac Jones would go there.
But it simply makes sense. Am I wrong?
Well, apparently now he's not even going to make it out of the top 10. So, like, sheesh at him.
He's
like,
going third
slow your
overall.
roll there. Like,
yeah. But that would be like, dang, that would be cool to see. Mac Jones and the Patriots with the team they're kind of building this offseason.
I want to see them just roll with Jarrett Stidham over Cam Newton.
They must not like him.
I don't know why they drafted him then.
Well, you draft a guy because you think you might like him, and then you realize you don't.
Well, then you play Brian Hoyer over him, and you're I don't know. I mean, this league's running out of quarterbacks, it seems like, which is weird because we were talking about how there's abundance of quarterbacks. So I'll just say this. There's only one thing that really makes total sense. The guy that you can go out and get right now. Gardner freaking Minshew. Gardner Minshew.
I don't like him.
I know you don't, but like the stats tell it the story. He's actually been really, really good.
Has he, though?
Yeah. He's right now he's on pace to have a better career than Tom Brady or Mark Bulger as a 6th rounder.
To me, he's like another Kirk Cousins.
But this is my issue with Gardner Minshew is that we have become a society that looks at quarterbacks as if they have to be first-round talents now.
I don't think I don't care where you get drafted. Just to me, he's been on teams that aren't good. They don't do anything.
Yeah, but he's exactly. So he didn't get a chance to play on the Blake Bortles Jaguars.
But I still
he got the end of the stick.
I still think if you're a good enough quarterback, you're gonna lift the team around you. Like we've never
not that organization.
Ben has never had a season that was below.
When you have so say Ben was in a situation where they're just during the middle of the year we're just going to trade Juju Smith-Schuster, we're just going to trade Cam Hayward, and I just feel like they messed up that locker room so much.
Yeah, but my point is like there's a certain threshold for me where the quarterback's good enough to your team shouldn't drop below this certain kind of point.
And I'm not saying he's Stafford, but it's similar because he was putting up the numbers and they weren't winning games because their defense was terrible. Keep in mind, he at not any point in his career has had any bit of the defense that they were in 2017.
Yeah.
So I guess my argument is that this guy came in, you were dumb. First off, the organization tells you they're dumb right off the bat because they spent $20 million on Nick Foles. No, Nick Foles gets hurt. Then you have Gardner Minshew comes in, and he's instantly an impact player for them.
Mm-hmm.
Instantly gives them a chance in all their games. You have the Minshew mania thing going on.
Yeah,
whatever.
I remember that. Yep.
And they don't like ever get better, and instead they get worse. You know, they had traded Jalen Ramsey, they had traded Dante Fowler Jr. away, they traded Yannick Ngakoue away.
Yeah, they dismantled.
Like I just feel like pretty much that he was part of a horrible organization. He was part of a rebuild in the middle of them. Like they were in purgatory. He had no idea what they were doing, and all that dude did is go out and ball. And he gets benched for Mike Glennon. You know what I mean? Like I just don't. I don't trust that organization, and I think if he were to go to the Patriots, he'd be perfect for them because they have two tight ends that could be a problem. They have Aguilar. This guy can throw the deep ball pretty well. He threw the ball pretty well to D.D. Westbrook and DJ Chark and those guys, Keelan Cole as well. So I look at Minshew, and right now he's the most readily available guy. The Jaguars are moving on from him. They couldn't make it any more obvious. The Patriots wouldn't have to give up much.
Yeah.
And he's better than Newton right now.
That's what I was about to say. I'll give you this. I think he's better than Cam Newton.
But I also think it's so good what we've seen out of the sixth rounder to make us think that with Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick, like sixth round quarterback Tom Brady, you could get something out of him.
Maybe.
But
I just think the Patriots probably want their own guy, draft a guy.
I really have a sneaky suspicion that they're gonna
trade for
go
someone.
After.
Okay.
I think they do get Minshew because I think they know. I think they get it.
Maybe. I think Bill Belichick is on a mission though. I think
either that or I think they get Mariota, which I would love if they got Mariota.
Yeah, but I think Bill Belichick is pissed. Wants to prove people
absolutely
wrong that we're bagging on him after Brady won.
Well, I think people are wrong to bag on him because I think you look
he was
at 10
clearly
COVID opt-outs and
he was clearly a part of Brady's success. Like that's crazy to say otherwise.
Yeah,
like,
and here's the thing: like newsflash, both of them could have helped out the team.
Exactly.
Like, can you believe that?
Wait,
like
the coach and the quarterback matter? No. Then why do they exist? Why do the positions?
I thought Brady was the coach. Like, what?
Yeah.
No, exactly. It's ridiculous. So I agree with you 100%, and I think Brady. That's not a knock on Tom Brady.
No, of course not. He's
like,
amazing.
That's the thing is that I feel like as soon as you say something like that, people are like, "Oh, are you saying Tom Brady isn't the GOAT?" I'm like, "Well, I don't think Tom Brady's the GOAT, but that's not why I'm saying that."
Right.
I just think. Like at this point, I'm in the driver's seat with Bill Belichick. I want to see what this guy can do. I want the Patriots to be good. I think it's better for the league when the Patriots are good. There, I said it. Like
okay.
I think it's better. I think the AFC East. I think the Bills have kind of coasted now. They kind of feel like, ooh, we're in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
I want to see the Patriots knock them right off their high tower. I think it'd be hilarious. But on top of that, everyone's forgetting the Dolphins. Like if Tua does develop, the Dolphins have a scary defense. And they're going to build onto that offense. They're going to pick a receiver 6th overall. And then the Jets. I think the Jets will be back. I don't know how long it'll take, but I think the Jets will be back.
It's been a minute.
I think that division's about to get more competitive. But I definitely think the Patriots, people are like, they're just going out and they're just signing people left and right. They know who they're signing.
You can tell they were building out like
it was methodical.
Like you could tell that you could picture the team they're building and like the way they want it to operate just based on the types of guys.
Matthew Judon is such a good pickup.
Yeah.
They have Matthew Judon.
That's like a perfect Patriot defender.
Yeah, they have Judon. They have Uche. They have Chase Winovich.
Those are all Patriots.
They just brought back, dude. And like literally, have you ever seen a team besides the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Like the Patriots literally brought back like everybody they wanted to. They brought back Dietrich Weiss. They brought back Andrews. I mean, they were getting guys left and right.
Yeah. So their last thing is the quarterback. So we'll see how they do that, how they address it.
I think, man, they have way too much talent there. If Minshew goes there, they win the division.
Okay.
I'm sticking to that.
All right.
They will win the division if Minshew goes there.
Okay. That would be fun to watch.
I think that they would make the playoffs with Stidham. I think they'll make the playoffs with Newton. I think they'll win the division with Minshew. I think they'd win the division with a healthy Mariota. I think if they signed Fitzpatrick, they would have won the division. There's not really much out there after that.
Yeah.
So
draft. It would be draft.
Well, and Winston, if they signed him, I think they would have won the division too.
All right. What else we got?
So, the guys that came back, we had Leonard Floyd coming back to the Rams. We had the Buccaneers getting Shaquille Barrett back.
Mm-hmm.
And then Allen Robinson signing his contender. Do you think Allen Robinson is going to stay with the Bears?
The Bears are like one of the hardest teams in the NFL to read for me, man.
I think right now they look like the worst team in football.
They're so weird.
Like, their defense is so good, so I can't
if
say
I was
they're the
Allen
worst
Robinson,
team,
I would say, hey, man, go somewhere else. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's thinking, but they are a confusing team to me, man.
But I don't feel bad for him because...
No, I mean, whatever, it's fine.
No, not the money. Because everyone's like, free Allen Robinson. And Steffi Smalls and I were talking about this on my show the other day. And I feel like people don't know Allen Robinson chose the Bears over playing with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. So there's no free Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson made his bed.
Yeah.
And then he had to lay in it. And everyone's like, oh, this is so unfair. Can you imagine? It's like if so Antonio Brown, he went to go play with obviously he played with Ben, then he goes to play with Brady. It's like if Antonio Brown's like, no, I'm not going to play with Brady. I'm going to play with Andy Dalton. Mm-hmm. What?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, so, yeah, Allen Robinson doesn't get anything from me. But what I will say, speaking with receiver, Kenny Golladay to the Giants intrigues me. It's a lot of money, but Kenny Golladay, 6'4", ran a 4.4, or I think 4.49, 4.5.
I think it was 4.5.
He can really stretch the field. He's a true deep threat. His only issue is that he can't stay healthy. If he stays healthy, that move is beautiful.
Because of the way he sacrifices his body for those catches, man. I mean, he'll just lay out for anything, any angle. He doesn't care how he comes down.
Stafford will throw it literally. He would throw it anywhere.
Yeah.
Basically, if he's covered, he's open.
Right. Kenny Golladay is awesome. Do you like Daniel Jones? Do you think the Giants can compete? I don't
love Daniel Jones, but I love what the Giants are doing buying into him. They're going out. They got him a left tackle. Yeah. They got him their wide receiver.
I agree.
And all of a sudden, Daniel Jones has weapons, man.
Yeah, he does.
You look Saquon's going to be back. I know everyone forgot, but Saquon got hurt week 2.
Yeah, he
didn't play all of last year.
He's still pretty great if you forgot.
So he basically missed the entire season. Yeah. And that might be the best running back in football. But anyway, you have Saquon Barkley who's coming back. They signed Devontae Booker, who would be a really good backup. They might get Gallman back. That's just the backfield. You look at the receivers. I think everyone forgot they have Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton,
who I've always
still pretty good.
I've liked both of them. I think they're both really good. I mean, probably not one, which is why you go and get Golladay,
so you
but
get Golladay
complementary pieces.
You have Dante Pettis. They went out and got John Ross. They have a ton of speed to take.
Dude.
They have all these pieces.
John Ross, by the way, I was hoping the Steelers might try and do something for him.
Ooh.
I like him, man. I think he was
him
just
in that 5 receiver group.
Yeah, he was just in a bad situation. I still think he can turn it around.
Oh, absolutely.
I just
the
think
Bengals didn't they didn't
even use him. Yeah,
they're like, ooh, Alex Erickson.
Yeah.
On what planet is Alex Erickson getting more reps than John Ross?
Exactly. And admittedly, he did have injury issues, of course, along the way.
Yeah, but so did AJ Green and Auden Tate and T. I mean,
he never got a shot, so I'm excited to see what they do with him.
I remember I felt so bad for him. They were interviewing him, and he's just like, man, I don't know why I'm scratched. I just want to play. I'm healthy. I'm ready. And he just he lost it because he's like, I'm sitting here every week doing my job in practice, and then healthy scratch. I'm a first-round pick.
It's very strange the way that happened.
It was honestly frustrating for me watching that.
You liked him coming out a lot, right?
I did. I didn't love him, but I liked him.
Yeah.
He was not a first-rounder for me. He was a second-rounder.
Really?
Yeah, I had him more of a early second-rounder.
Okay.
But so I mean, kind of a late first rounder. Yeah. But yeah, I think he can make something happen with the Giants. My number one receiver in a previous draft, it was either 2017 or 18, was Dante Pettis. And
I remember you liked him a lot.
I just think he was finding something with the Niners, got hurt, and then came back, did well, got hurt again, and then the Niners just drafted more receivers, and he got lost in the shuffle. Happens all the time. So now he doesn't have a huge opportunity because there's so much talent, but if he could carve out a role in a rotational piece, because the Giants should just rotate these receivers except for Golladay, to be honest with you. They have so much speed. Shepard isn't a burner, but Shepard's still fast. They have Slayton. Slayton's a burner, okay? They have Ross. Ross is a burner. They have Pettis. Pettis is a burner.
Well, to me, Shepard is your bet. I would really like him to be utilized in the slot.
Shepard's great in the slot.
Yeah.
I think he's your true slot receiver.
Yeah.
Ross, Slayton, and Pettis will take the top off.
Yeah, they'll be your outside kind of guys.
Yeah, they could.
And then
I think they're all interchangeable. I mean, I watched Galladay as a big slot receiver as well. He can do it.
Yeah, and then John Ross, I mean, get creative with him, man. 4.2 speed doesn't grow on trees. So figure out a way to get him on the field. Have fun.
Exactly. And then the tight ends, they signed Kyle Rudolph. Love that signing.
Yeah, he's good.
Rudolph's biggest issue is that he does everything well, but he was on the Vikings. So like when they had Diggs and Thielen and Dalvin Cook, he was their fourth or fifth option.
Right.
So I think this guy comes to a team now kind of in a similar boat, but they're not as superstar oriented. So I think he could carve out a serious role in the red zone. Very reliable in the postseason for the Vikings. You saw, the walk-off touchdown he had against the Saints. He's a guy that you can just isolate in the red zone. He's going to go up there with those bear claw-like arms and hands and just rip the ball out.
Yeah.
He's underrated, man.
I think he is too. I've always liked him. Yeah, so Daniel Jones.
I don't know if Ingram – I will say this. I don't know if Ingram will be on the opening day roster. I think they might trade him.
Come on, really?
Yeah.
Not even one more year? Dang.
I think there's a chance they trade him.
But, Daniel Jones, weapons galore, so if he doesn't do something this year.
I agree. And then you had the defense that Patrick Graham has just put – it's a monster defense. And they go out, they try to get Leonard Floyd, and – they came really close from what I was told. They came really close to getting him from the Rams. But they didn't, and they brought back Leonard Williams. A lot of people were saying that was too much money. I was one of those people. But I see the defense that they're trying to have and what they want to do.
And they got the money.
Sense. And
they got the rookie quarterback. So
plus, their back end and their secondary, they just added Adoree Jackson.
I know. Oh, my God. They really – God.
Dude,
the Giants.
Don't sleep on
Daniel
G-men.
Jones puts it together, man.
Don't sleep on them.
No, for real.
And they lose Dalvin Tomlinson. I know, he was a fan favorite, so Giants fans were really bummed about that. But, I feel like they gained more than they lost this offseason.
What's their safeties right now? Is that the weakness?
Well, no, because they have Logan Ryan and they have Jabril Peppers. And I know what you're probably going to say. Jabril Peppers has turned himself into a solid player.
Has he?
Oh, yeah. He's pretty good. And Adoree Jackson, he was 6th in the league as a boundary corner, 6th in the league with
Jackson
targeted passer rating.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me about him. I was hoping.
But the Titans stopped playing him on the boundary.
Yeah.
So the Titans cutting him makes literally no sense. 26 years old, he was the return. They cut him and then they let Desmond King go. So I could understand if you kept one or the other, but they let them both go.
Right.
I don't really know what the Titans were doing, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But the Giants reaped the benefits
yeah,
there.
They did, yeah.
They have some stellar corners, though. And one guy that you have to talk about is James Bradbury.
Oh, yeah, I like him.
He's
good.
He's a stud. And he was with the Panthers. And for whatever reason, they didn't bring him back. And then he goes to the Giants, and he's a monster.
Yep. Yeah, the Giants are – yeah, you're right. Look out for the Giants.
They have Blake Martinez, man, who's one of the best linebackers in football, total monster tackler. And they have some pieces like Zimenez and, the pass rusher from Georgia who they added, in previous drafts who, if they develop, it's they haven't really developed yet. So if these guys develop, then you're just adding more value to this roster.
Yeah.
It's a really good roster. The offensive line needs to get a little bit more upgrade, I would say.
Yep.
But I think the Giants have a chance to win the division. But I will say this. The reason I say chance and not saying that they will is not because the Cowboys or the Eagles. Washington got a lot better.
Well, they still need a
go
quarterback.
out and get our guy, William Jackson.
Yeah, I love him. Yeah, he got stolen from the Steelers draft night. Remember that? Artie Burns.
Oh, yeah. But then the Steelers got him back with Devin Bush later on. They traded
True.
That was amazing.
True. Yeah, that was good.
I celebrated.
Good stuff.
I like revenge,
Yeah.
I dig it. But,
and then they didn't even end up keeping him. So it's who really won?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they stole Mike Hilton. They're like, oh, we got you now.
I know.
All right.
It's all right, whatever,
weirdo.
Man.
Yeah. So yeah, with this, Washington, they go out and they add Will Jackson. But the thing that really made my eyes pop is when I saw they signed on the dotted line with Curtis Samuel. They reunited Curtis Samuel with Terry McLaurin. And
that's a great.
That fit is so good.
It's beautiful.
And then they go out and they make this move that no one is talking about. I don't know why. Adam Humphries. And we've seen what he can do with Tampa, what he did with Fitzpatrick in Tampa. So they reunite Fitzpatrick and Humphries. Humphries is going to be such a stud in the slot. And then you have those guys on the boundary. But, Curtis Samuel was also a running back in college.
Right.
So, he can do it all. And you also have Antonio Gibson, who is a running back and can play wide receiver.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of these hybrids. And it's
it's going to be a good team, man.
And I think people are really knocking Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think he can win a Super Bowl. He can win a Super Bowl with this team.
With this team, could he win?
This defense is really good.
The defense is the thing that I'm like,
dude,
maybe.
I'm psyched. William Jackson getting out of Cincinnati means that William Jackson will finally get the freaking praise that he deserves.
Well, they need to let him also just go man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
With that pass rush, with William, he's going to be picking everything off. He's
agree.
He's going to have a revitalize if he stays healthy. That was one of the things.
I don't know why the Bengals didn't bring him back, but again, I'm not hating on the Bengals
a little bit.
I really you've been big on William Jackson. I've been big on William Jackson. I'm like, this guy is good. He's very similar to Jair Alexander, but he doesn't play on a big name team.
Yeah.
So and Washington's not big name, right? But they're becoming big name. People are really starting to give them the respect. So now I feel like playing with Chase Young, playing with Jonathan Allen and playing with Montez Sweat, I think eventually people are gonna be like, ooh, William Jackson, he's not being talked about. No, he hasn't been being talked about since he entered the league.
Right.
If he went to the Steelers, he'd be a hot topic.
Yeah, dude. I remember his rookie year. He went up against AB and he didn't shut him down, but he kept him to 60 yards and just making plays against AB going back and forth. And I was like, this guy's for real. That.
He's also what people thought Artie Burns could be because he has that deep speed.
Oh yeah, he's way better than obviously way better than Artie Burns.
I couldn't stand Artie Burns, but
yeah. I mean, we should have known when the name, Burns, get burned. It was so obvious.
It wasn't Justin King though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Washington looks really good. The Giants look really good. I think the Patriots look really good. I think they need to go out and get Minshew. So what are your thoughts on the Rams? Because I know everyone's like, they've done nothing this offseason. I'm like, that's not true.
How can you trade for Matthew Stafford and say they've done nothing?
And they brought back Leonard Floyd. And I said John Johnson was more likely to be back, and I wasn't even confident in that than Leonard Floyd. And the fact that Leonard Floyd came back, that's huge.
Yeah.
He was one of the best edge defenders last year, and he was probably more valuable than Khalil Mack. And here's why. Because what he does as a run defender, how he can set the edge, he's one of the best at that. That's why he got paid that money. On top of that, the Rams edge group just doesn't really look that great.
Yeah, that's been a weak point for you guys for a minute.
I mean, I was thinking, how are they going to replace, Clowney and, all sorts of guys. Carl Lawson got paid. He goes to the Jets. So he wasn't an option. So when they signed Leonard Floyd, I was pretty excited because I didn't expect him to be back. And I thought he was kind of a 1-year wonder where I thought he'd play with the Rams, go somewhere else and be forgotten, kind of like Dante Fowler. But it's cool that he bought in, signed the contract, and have him for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
So
no, I think the Rams are looking good. I said when they got Matt Stafford, they instantly leapdog to one of my favorites in the NFC.
So what do you think about the Deshaun Jackson signing?
I don't like it. I wasn't gonna go there.
No, it's well, we gotta discuss it because it's he's such a big name. It's crazy. The Rams have had 7 social media posts about Deshaun Jackson.
He's a big name.
They're really pushing it.
Yeah, I get it.
It's funny because the Rams had an opportunity to draft him.
Yeah.
In the 2008 draft, I wanted him out of Cal, and they drafted Donnie Avery out of Houston, and I liked Avery, but Avery hasn't played in the league in 5 years. And Deshaun Jackson's
just
still
signed
trucking.
$10 million.
So, look, I wasn't a huge fan of Deshaun Jackson because of the injuries. He's missed 29 games over the last 3 years.
That's my thing. That's my only concern.
But if he stays healthy, the Rams have 4 legit starting.
Do you think
receivers.
He still has his speed?
Oh yeah. There was this.
When's the last really good game he had? I mean, I can't.
It's not even like a game. Like he has that play speed where he just needs that one play where he could take the top off. And
he's 30 something, right?
He's 34,
and he still has that home run speed.
Go look at the video. I think it's against the Cowboys. Jalen Hurts throws a bomb to him, and he just runs by everybody.
Yeah,
like he's still got.
Yeah,
it.
so if he stays healthy, I mean, then fine, and I get it. And you want a deep threat when you have a Matthew Stafford.
Oh, yeah.
So
absolutely.
So I understand it.
I think it makes a lot of sense. I was bummed because I wanted the Rams to draft a receiver high.
They also might do that though.
I don't know, because then you
think you paid him too much to do that?
Yeah, I think you're stepping on Van Jefferson's toes by going out and getting another guy. I think they'll get like Amir Smith-Marset in the 4th round would be awesome. A guy that can stretch the field, has that deep speed. I think he had like the fastest, what was it, 3-cone drill? I think it's like the fastest 3-cone drill in like 20 years. I just saw it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Like, but I know you like stuff like that.
I do.
But yeah, I mean, he's somebody I could see more of a, if Josh Reynolds actually went up and plucked the ball out of the air.
And faster. Josh Reynolds wasn't the fastest home run threat.
He
could take the
strider.
top off, right? But he wasn't like lightning in a bottle fast.
No. I mean, I really wanted to see Dwayne Eskridge. I like his ability, and I feel like he can be like a Tyreek Hill in this league. So I just kind of feel like this signing put them out of that. But now that he's like, I've seen the Photoshop and like I've seen him in the number 11 uniform, I'm ready.
Of course
like,
you are.
I'm ready to see number 11, number 12, number 10, number 17.
Right.
And I'm ready to see 89 as well, because I think people have already
Higbee, right?
forgotten that Tyler Higbee's a really good player, and forgotten the fact that, like, isn't it funny, though? Like, Jared Goff fell off a cliff, right? And so now it's like all these players also fell off a cliff with him. Like, that's how people
Well, that's
think.
how it is, though, because of the QB. Like, if he can't get the ball to them.
Yeah, but, like, people are like, what happened to Tyler Higbee? I'm like, well, he
Nothing.
got hurt.
He has a bad quarterback.
Jared Goff didn't throw to him.
He has a bad quarterback. That's what happened.
So, I'm excited for Bryson Hopkins to get an opportunity. We'll see about that. They brought back Johnny Munt. Gerald Everett goes to the Seahawks. I actually like that move. I will say that.
You think Russell Wilson will make him look good?
Yeah, and
if he's there.
Yeah. And Shane Waldron started out as the tight ends coach for the Rams. Shane Waldron's now the OC for Seattle. So he brings over
cool.
Gerald Everett, who he's been working with since, he became the tight ends coach. So I really do like that move. And I think that they see something in him. Paying him $7 million for the year for a guy that the most yards he's had, I think, is just under 600.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could be a serious component to their offense. It might not be why they were so hesitant to bring back David Moore and get that third receiver. Who knows? It's also a huge wide receiver class. They can go out and get a third receiver.
But
really
like it.
If they don't, fantasy-wise, Gerald Everett could be a top 8 fantasy tight end.
Okay. Yeah, man. I'm just excited to see the Rams this year. I really am. I'm excited to watch Stafford.
I explained it on, I compared it on Twitter. I was like, having your team go out and trade for a franchise quarterback like Matthew Stafford.
That's just exciting, man.
It's like pre-ordering a PS5 and not being allowed to play it for a year.
Oh, right.
It's just so brutal.
Yeah.
You're sitting there like, I'm just ready.
And you own it. It's there.
Like,
and you
I'm
just
watching
can't.
Kansas the other day, and they get destroyed by USC. Like, it's the worst loss in their history.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, I just want to watch Matthew Stafford throw touchdowns.
Dude,
man.
I feel you.
Like, I'm ready for this season.
Right.
And like,
it's coming faster than you think, man. I mean, the draft is coming, and
this year's flying by.
And then you're gonna start the off-season
as
program.
opposed to 2020, which I'm pretty sure there's a conspiracy out there that there's 5 years in one. Okay, there's
in 2020.
Yeah.
Was 5 years in
one. We went through 5 years in that 1 year.
Oh, yeah,
and they just kept turning the clock. You know, like,
of course.
It's on 4chan. Go.
Yeah.
Don't actually go there. It's a horrible site. But
I'm excited though, man.
But
I can't imagine how excited you must be as a fan, because I know when the time comes for the Steelers to get their quarterback, it's going to be exciting.
Well, I'm excited for the draft too.
Well,
because, a lot of people are saying the Rams shouldn't go out and get a linebacker, and
I think they should, shouldn't they?
I agree. See, the problem is, Adam, you and I live in a different world than the people that don't think linebackers matter.
Oh, they matter.
Because you and I see Devin Bushes of the world,
yeah,
and we're like, he can literally change everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
they can change
everything.
how your whole defense runs.
And Deion Jones. Remember, we obsessed over
Deion
Deion Jones.
Ryan Shazier.
I want a new age, all athletic linebacker, and
there's a couple of them that you
Jabril
could
Cox,
get.
Dylan Moses. I want a guy like that on.
It's a good year to want those guys.
But then there's people like, yeah, but Micah Kaiser. I'm like, yeah, but he never plays.
Right.
He's always hurt. He missed 1 full year and then missed a half of this season.
That's not good.
Well, he had 14, 15 tackles in week 2. I don't care. He misses 8 games a year.
No, you gotta have them.
And then I have
field.
to hear how Troy Reader's bad, but then you're saying that you don't want a linebacker. So is he bad? Like, what are we going with this? Because I actually like Troy Reader. I like that they brought back Traven Howard as a restricted free agent. And I like Kenny Young, but like Micah Kaiser doesn't do it for me because he's never healthy.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, and I'm looking at this linebacker group, and I think it's a good linebacker class.
No,
it is. Jabril Cox coming from North Dakota State transfers to LSU. Thank God, because he would have not even been able to play this year. Thought he had a really good year. And then, you know, I think Dylan Moses is somebody that I've been following since, you know, he was a high school prospect. Big fan of Dylan Moses. His athleticism, you know, I think he can be a star. So I'm just and Jamin Davis is another guy that I've mentioned on here.
Yeah, you mentioned him. I remember that.
You know, I'm over the let's have a linebacker by committee approach. Linebackers don't matter.
Nah, man, you want a superstar linebacker these days.
And like Raheem Morris he's been around Deion Jones, okay? And I feel like everyone's like, well, he's emulating Brendan Staley's defense. I'm like, sure, that you're right. But at the same time, I think he's also going to put some of his own, you know, things in there. And keep in mind, he also ran the Tampa 2. What do you need at Tampa 2? You need an effective linebacker that can cover the middle of the field.
Yep.
Otherwise, you can't run the Tampa 2.
Yep.
So, you know, that's a guy like Levante David. That's a guy like Devin White. You know, both guys that were with
I know.
Both guys that are with Tampa right now. Cannot believe they brought them both back.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm at. Where I'm thinking, if I'm the Rams, if I'm looking for that next level piece, I go out and get a Dylan Moses and reap the rewards. And then I also want to grab an edge defender across from Leonard Floyd.
I agree. I think that's the two things you guys need most on D.
Everyone keeps saying center. I'm like, just re-sign Austin Blythe.
Yeah.
Get a center in the third round, end of the third round. Kendrick Green out of Illinois. Develop him. It's what I was just saying about Ben Roethlisberger is that I wouldn't go out and get I obviously had them getting Quinn Miners in that mock draft I did on the fly. But I had them doing that because that is what they've put themselves in position to do. I would have signed David Andrews with the money that he, you know, saved because I have a quarterback on his last legs. I want to get him a veteran offensive line.
Yeah, I understand.
I have Matthew Stafford. I don't want to have a rookie center.
I agree.
And the Rams aren't going to do it. They're going to get Blythe back, barring some crazy event. And that's why I have, you know, like a developmental center in the back end of the third round.
Right.
So.
Yeah, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
We rip through this stuff, man. Like, and I mean, it'll be like at the end of our shows and stuff, we'll just be like, yeah, I wish we brought that one thing. Like, you know, it's like you can never, you know, there's always something that you're going to forget. You leave,
yeah. But any last minute comments or anything?
Let me check. Is James Conner in free agency? He is. Adam really wants him back.
Yeah, right. That's a joke. Yeah, James Conner's name has not been linked to any teams. Or no, the Jets. He was linked briefly to the Jets. They talked to him, and then they ended up signing someone else for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him, but, I mean,
Would you take Gurley or Peterson as a component of their backfield for cheap? I mean, I legitimately think Peterson could start.
Maybe Peterson.
I like Gurley, but Gurley's, you know, you're going to have to deal with that issue that his burst is gone and he's injury prone.
Exactly. And I just went through that with Connor for 4 years. I don't want an injury prone running back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I hear you there.
All right, anything else before you want to wrap this up or what?
Let's see here. Among Us. Deshaun trying to do everything to get out of Houston. I don't know about that. James People are saying James Pierre is the next best Steelers corner. Ain't he dropped like 5 almost interceptions in the wild card?
Oh, God, did he? I don't know.
Who's James Pierre?
James Pierre is a undrafted guy that they signed last year and worked his way up the roster and was playing snaps at the end of the season.
How the hell do I've never I thought this dude just made him up to make us look like fools when we bring it back.
He's real.
Because I've seen that before. People do that.
He exists. He exists. He's probably going to have a bigger role, too, this year.
What about Jordan Dangerfield?
Nah, he's just a guy.
He's just a meme.
Just a special teams
dude,
meme.
he's a special teams meme.
Yeah, he'll never leave.
He's
been with us for like 50 years.
He's as stuck there as Evan Washburn is stuck in the in another reality.
I know.
Of teleporting.
Oh my God, I know.
Dude, Evan Washburn was covering the Kansas game.
Why?
I swear to God, he was also in like Kentucky.
Yeah, why? Yeah, guys, if you ever, this has been like a running joke for us. If you have ever seen, pay attention to this. Evan Washburn, I think he's with CBS.
Yeah.
He covers every single game.
I mean, he's the
TV.
greatest human to ever exist.
Yeah, like especially during the NFL season, look out for Evan Washburn because you'll see him reporting from the stadium of like a Ravens-Steelers game, and then 20 minutes later, reporting from a stadium of like where, like somewhere across the country.
Yeah, it's like San Francisco.
Yeah, you're like, what the heck? Yeah, Evan Washburn is a legend. So
yeah, he's the man.
Yep,
we appreciate him. But oh God, we gotta. On that note. After Whoopster put future Steelers quarterback Jimmy G, I think we got to close
Oh,
this.
God, no. Please don't wish that upon us.
I want to see Haskins at some point, but he's already on the roster, so I think he'll give me a break there.
Yeah.
Not Jimmy G.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it, guys. Appreciate y'all for joining us. We'll be back next Saturday, and we'll have some more content. Potentially, we'll do a mock draft, but we'll have to we'll have to see on that. We might have to wait because we'll have to wait to see if there's more of these crazy trades happening.
Hopefully it starts heating up. I always love it. I love seeing that stuff.
It's fun, definitely. I think this is going to be a year where you're going to see a lot of draft trades because it's just no one. It's again the whole thing with like marrying. You have to marry someone without meeting them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's all like if you're just dating, like so you're just virtually dating, and then you're like you have to commit on the fly.
Yeah.
Like that's essentially what they have to do because it's only been Zoom meetings.
Right.
It's not like, and then the pro day, I don't even know if you can talk to them at the pro day.
Yeah, I don't I think you can. I've seen coaches like talking to the players and stuff. Not like in a meeting room per se, but like on the field and stuff.
Okay, so this is the example. You're meeting so you're going on Zoom, you're dating your girl on Zoom.
Right.
And then when you want to see her, you have to run into her at the grocery store.
Right.
And then you have to marry her.
Yeah. It's a commitment.
Yeah, so I think a lot of teams are going to get scared of that commitment. GMs are going to be like, I'm not about to lose my job making this pick. I'm going to trade down.
Right, trade down.
Because no one will criticize you for trading down and getting more capital.
Yeah, it's rarely criticized. You're right. And then
it's the safe move.
Trading up for
trading
the guy
up
that
will get you criticized.
Know. Well, but trading up for the guy you do know because there's going to be less of them.
Yes.
So then you're like, that's the guy we know. Is the one. Okay, let's go. But
yeah, so that'll be fun. But that's gonna do it. Hope you guys enjoyed our show, and we'll be back